You brought me all the way over here just to see that.
Uh-huh.
Thanks, Al.
What's your favorite scary movie? Swallow this.
Everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Arrow in the Head Show. Lance, John, talking movies, buddy. How you been?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Other than the fact I broke my foot, I'm just swell.
Save that for the show. I respect that. What happened?
It's actually the day before I took my chick for a hiking weekend, and I was walking her insane dog in my sandals, flip-flops, and the insane dog saw a cat, and I was not prepped. Insane dog pulled, foot went.
Yes.
And now it's in a bucket of ice as we speak. So, yeah, I'm in a lot of pain at the moment.
Sorry. It's not funny, but it's just,
No,
force.
It's funny. It's funny.
Yeah, I mean,
taking me everything to keep it together right now. So I'm not going to lie to you.
White knuckling, it's like,
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. But, yeah, no, it's, obviously my weekend of hiking did not happen. It was a weekend of hobbling and hitting the bar. But, we made the best of it. And now here I am to talk about one installment of one of my favorite comic books ever, The Punisher. And in this case, a Warzone. But before we get into that,
Drinks.
Yeah, drinks.
It's summer. It's hot. These South Carolina days get a little humid, so I made myself a mojito. Yeah, what about you?
Well, we're both in bitch drinks. I got
wine in a box. It's awesome. Oh, it's
margarita.
Oh.
So basically, it's a fuckload of sugar. That's all it is.
I mean, I'm drinking mojito, buddy.
Exactly. So in case you guys and dolls didn't put it together, we're doing the Punisher Warzone in honor of the great and late Ray Stevenson. So as we're going to cheers all of us, we're going to cheer Mr. Stevenson as well. So cheers,
Ray
my
Stevenson.
boy.
And to you.
Cheers to all of you. Cheers, Ray.
Hello, my friends! Hey!
I'm going to start on a positive.
Sure.
Ray Stevenson really elevates this movie. My favorite bits with him, ironically enough, are not the violence and the shootouts, or the emotional moments. When he's at the gravestone of his family, for example. And if I remember correctly, he kind of turns and his eyes, and you could see everything working. You could see the inner turmoil, holding the tears. You just see it happening inside of him. Or the scene where he confronts Julie Ben's character when he shows up with the money because he killed,
and she has a gun on him, yeah.
That whole back and forth, I was like, fuck. I was feeling that shit. And the fact that I was feeling anything in this fucking movie, which is basically the Batman Forever of the Punisher movies, in my opinion, is, a statement to Ray Stevenson's talent. I think he really elevated the movie, and if it wasn't for him, and of course there's some other qualities to the film, but if it wasn't for him, I don't think the whole thing would have halfway worked. No,
he's the reason. He's the reason. I mean, this was coming off of the Thomas Jane version, 2004. Yeah. Now I'm going to sum this up real quick because I know we're going to dig into it. I love the Punisher Warzone enough where I owned it on DVD, and I actually bought the special edition steelbook. I'm that kind of dork.
Nice, good on you.
Because it is such. I find this movie absolutely bizarre. Part of it, I'm laughing at it. Sometimes I'm laughing with it. Sometimes I'm flabbergasted by what's going on screen. But man, it's not like anything else. But what ties all together, the rug that ties this room together, is Ray Stevenson putting in that level of effort in a movie that is, like you said, I in my video, an old video of mine, I said Batman Forever meets Jason Voorhees. Tonally, it's all over the place. I mean, it is the goofiest movie, but Stevenson shows up like he's making Batman Begins. That's what I liked. Everybody else is kind of cartoonish and goofy and weird, and Stevenson's like, nah, I'm going to go for the Oscar for this. And for the most part, delivers. But I think Stevenson just has that. He's bigger. I liked his head to toe sort of armor. I just seemed the most grounded in a non-grounded way is how I describe it.
It's tough. Like my relationship with the Punisher is the Garth Ennis series. That's what I really like. Once I discovered that was for me is the Punisher, and you get some of it in the Thomas Jane version. You get some of it in this version as well. But I thought the Thomas Jane version, even though stupidly set in Tampa, Florida for some fucking reason, and having the Punisher act like he's right out of Melrose Place with his fucking fire hydrant in a bag.
He's doing like a
planting earrings.
Yeah.
That's not the Punisher. He shows up with a fucking shotgun. I thought Jane's version randomly really hit it, and I thought as a whole, filmmaking wise, was sturdier than this. My problem with Warzone, number one, it looks cheap. It really looks cheap. The color motif, which is like what, green, red, blue,
neon's primary colors.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't think it served the film well. They actually did the opposite of what I like in a Punisher cinematic interpretation, if you will. They try to make it look like a comic book, a shitty looking comic book. Like visually, there's nothing appealing about this fucking movie to me. Like really, it looks like shit. But I like and that's actually why Thomas Jane didn't come back, because he wanted gritty and realistic, and they wanted comic book, and he's like, fuck this shit, I'm out. And I agree with Thomas Jane. The Punisher with Dolph Lundgren has a grounded, gritty feel, even though it has, it's.
I love the original Punisher.
A product of its time. It echoes the one-man army, movies like Rambo and Commando. Yeah. But isn't that what the Punisher is, though, to some degree? If you
like James Bond, though, I don't mind the Punisher representing the time period, because then when you get to look back and it's like fun and interesting. So I own Dolph Lundgren. I've always liked it.
Yeah, me too.
Naked doing fucking meditation in the sewers. Why not?
Why not?
I don't give. But I am not a comic book accurate guy, so I should also say that I've never read them. So
you should read the Garth Ennis Punishers, bro, and thank me later. I'm sure some of you guys and dolls have read that series. It is unfucking believable. But anyways,
I believe it.
So Punisher Lundgren, grounded, somewhat gritty. Punisher Thomas Jane, grounded, somewhat gritty, except for fire hydrants and earrings and playing Melrose Place, as I called it. Fight with the Russian was dope as fuck. John Berthal Punisher, fucking awesome in my book. Grounded, gritty, realistic. This one's the only one really that tries to comic book it. And for me, the visual style was very unappealing.
Well, I can't actually. There's a few things I can't fight you on, because I think the problem is that I like this movie halfway ironically. But I gotta backtrack. Dolph Lundgren Punisher is essentially the holder from like the Schwarzenegger Rambo era, and I like that because it's kind of goofy as well, but it's in a fun way. It's that sort of over the top 80s action, even though I think it was either late 80s, early 90s. I forget which one, but I've always liked that. Though he didn't have the skull, but Ed Dennehy, and it was fun and dumb and awesome. No, I with all my heart hate that fucking 2004 Punisher. I hate every ounce of it. In fact, the video I rewatched the video I did for Black Sheep many years ago, and I forgot that I spent like the first 3 minutes just punching down that one. Yeah, man. I worked at a theater when it came out. I can't vouch how accurate it is, so I can't do that. I hated the look. See, I have the same things about that. It was too bright, too sunny. Thomas Jane was like too pretty in it. I hate the fucking Russian. I hate the neighbors. I hated that. Like, there's a lot of.
Well, the neighbors are from the Garth Ennis.
Oh, I know that people mention in the comments like that. But here's my argument: that just because it's in the comics doesn't mean it translates to film.
You're absolutely right.
Yeah, I mean, it's
like soap in Warzone is in the comics as well, in the Garth Ennis soap.
Wait, is that? Oh God.
The doofus cop,
Hold on.
In the comics, but he did not translate well on screen at all.
No, and I always say he reminded me of Brian Regan, this kind of like Jim Carrey-esque comedian. In all truth, I hate the 04 version so much that I was looking forward to this because I wanted hardcore violence. And why I love this in a half ironic way, let's be very clear. I wouldn't go outside and be like, it's a great movie, because it's not. It's really bad at parts. But it leans so goofy that I think it gets into so bad it's good. And for me, because I guess I don't have a true love of Punisher comics, I'm okay with that. The Jamaican Irish pirates that are parkouring for no reason.
Yeah.
Sure. everybody has what I would call a almost offensive Italian New York accent. I love it. I love it. It was like, hey, but I got the duck and goo. I'm like, oh, this is great.
You're gonna have to explain the whole fucking blitzer. The Union boys will be there to unload. Our cut's 10 mil. We won't break a sweat. 10 mil? Fuck's a Cristo shape. I don't know.
Yes, Dominic West. Come on,
But you know,
McNulty.
the film was shot in Montreal, my hometown.
I mean, it doesn't
I'm
surprise
telling
me.
you, it was actually one of the
Isn't
guys.
everything in Montreal? Or oh no, that's Vancouver. I'm sorry, Vancouver's
I
what I was
actually
thinking of.
auditioned for this movie for Warzone. I auditioned. I didn't get it.
Oh, well, I could have saw you being one of the Parko thugs.
One of the hoodlum dudes or whatever. But when I watched it recently, there was at some point this Asian gentleman, and I fought him in another movie. And
That's
I was,
cool.
and I was like, oh shit, man, he's, I fought this motherfucker. That's pretty cool. Actually, here's a clip of me fighting him. Like the parkour guys you just brought up, I thought it was fucking hilarious. Like, they're jumping around and fucking rocket.
But just like, yeah. But they're jumping around though, not really going anywhere. Like they jumped on a truck and then jumped on the truck and then jumped off the truck. It's like,
Yeah.
you could have just got up and walked. Or yeah, done a
Well,
little
it's
jog.
not fun. And I think they're meth heads, if memory serves me right?
I,
But when the Punisher blows one up in midair in a twirl with a rocket launcher,
it's awesome.
I'm like, fuck yeah. But the VFX sucked. The VFX sucked.
It's a cheap movie though. But I guess that's why I like it. I like it because it's contradictory. At times it wants to be a very serious, dark movie, and at other times it's clearly like a 90s superhero movie. It's so bizarre. Like take Stevenson and his gritty portrayal and his I lost my wife and kids. I'm like, oh man, okay, Stevenson, give it to her. And then you have I'm just going to call him McNulty, Dominic West's Billy the Butte, the Jigsaw, but he will always be McNulty because I'm a big wire guy. He's giving a speech against the backdrop of the flag.
Oh, God, I
and his
hated
brother,
that scene.
they're just like,
And we'd like to offer you the opportunity to be all that you can be.
I love it because that's so stupid. Or they're in the car and he's like, but I gotta get the Punisher. And his brother Looney Bin Jim is like, yeah, we gotta get everybody and we gotta kill him. I'm like, oh, okay. I don't think they know they're in the same movie, guys. Who didn't tell Stevenson he's in sort of a jokey, dumb movie,
Yeah.
Or the action's gritty and it's violent and I think it's cool. It's over the top, but in my kind of way, like legs are blowing off. The Jamaican Irish pirate guy, the parkour guy, he obviously throws him off the roof and he impales him on a fence.
Yeah, and then jumps.
Jumps off the entire roof and leg kicks him down. I was like, okay, so clearly we're having fun here.
Yeah.
But then the next scene, it's dark and serious, and then we jump to McNulty as Jigsaw, and he's basically playing the Riddler and the Joker together. I'm like, okay, guys, who's the script supervisor? Who didn't tell the director? And this is where I don't really believe anything that comes out about the movie, because Lexi Alexander has said in interviews that her intention was to make this kind of comic book and goofy, and that Marvel wanted to kind of aim it more towards the Dark Knight movies, which were around the time. Somebody didn't know what they wanted out of this, and we got what I would consider, a 90s super movie filtered through the teen angsty new metal music video era of the 2000s. Like, it's like everything's like so cool, but it's so cringy. I don't know, man. I love it. I treat this as like a real fun movie where Stevenson is clearly like trying to act above everybody else, and I appreciate that.
And he does actually. He definitely pulls it off.
Sure, but he doesn't fit in this movie though. Let's be honest. Everybody else is goofy.
He's in his own movie, definitely.
Yeah.
He's in the Punisher movie I wanted to see, and everybody else is in this low budget,
Canadian,
awkwardly shot and lit, tonally all over the place. Like you said before, like Dominic West. Once he becomes Jigsaw, he's like, actually, even before he becomes Jigsaw, he's a caricature of an Italian.
Yeah.
Hey, what's going on? Yo, cocksucker, you.
Right, yeah, Crystal Bullet.
He's that guy.
Cool. Yeah.
Guido, So, but then when he becomes Jigsaw, well, then, all bets are off. There's no rules. And same thing with, what's his fucking face? Doug Hutchinson.
The good old Doug Hutchinson.
Looney Bin Jim, I knew that guy. He played Toombs on the X-Files.
He did, yeah.
Yeah, and remember when he eats like some dude's liver or some shit in Warzone? Maybe that's an homage to Toom, because that's what Toom did. He ate people's organs and shit, right?
Still one of the scariest parts of the first season of X-Files, hands down.
Yeah. And then he wound up like dating some young chick.
He married like a 16-year-old girl. Yeah, no, he became a creep. I know. And he was good in this, Lost. Yeah, I know. But it's like, whew.
Well, God bless him. Man's got to relax.
Man's got to relax, right?
But yeah, it's my least favorite of the Punisher movies, in complete honesty. Stevenson's performance, really heartfelt and minimalistic, yet nuanced. And there's a lot going on. You can see there's a lot going on. He's not just like, I'm there and I'm a badass. There's shit going on and you see it. And that made me gravitate towards him.
He emotes.
His performance aside, Julie Ben's really good too. Wayne Knight as Microchip, who's a character in the comic that I hate. And this is like not the Garth Ennis series. Microchip's not there. It's before. I hate that character, but Wayne Knight actually made him bearable.
I mean, you're going to put Newman in something. I'd fight you if you didn't. I'm sorry, but like Wayne Knight and Ed O'Neill, to me, it's like the two people that I think are never bad. You put them to something, even if they don't belong. I'm like,
it was nice to see him kind of play it straight.
Yeah, like, he had a couple jokes.
Dramatically. Yeah, it was good dramatically. And the last, I would say, 25 minutes, the shootout in the whole warehouse. Well, not a warehouse. It's more like
an empty hotel. Right? Yeah.
That's awesome. I'll give it that. That's awesome. That's a great way to leave me with carnage up the ass. Yes, a lot of the gore, like the chair and the eyeball, it's, CG enhanced.
That's something Jason Voorhees, like he has superhuman strength. He's jumping off of 4-story buildings like kicking people, I
could have done without the CG enhancement, or the guy that gets, I think he's on the shitter or something, and oh fuck, and he gets it. I appreciated that. So, the ending, at least, it did what a movie's supposed to do, is even though the movie might be uneven, it leaves you on a high note. So I'll give it that. When that last 25 minutes of carnage kicked in, I'm like, okay.
That's what I wanted from, and here's the thing, I love Thomas Jane, and I think I wanted that anger in his movie. Though, let me say this, because, and I talked a lot of shit about the 04 version. Thomas Jane came back a couple years after this in a
Dirty Laundry.
And I remember seeing that on YouTube. I'll never forget it. I go, this is the movie I wanted. Like, this is it. And that's where I was like, okay, good. Like, Thomas Jane finally was able to play the Punisher, where he's just in the liquor store and it's like, and then he takes the bottle and just fucking goes. I was like, yes. And because I think I've an actor-wise, he's probably my favorite actor out of these four guys. I love Stevenson. I love Lundgren, but Thomas Jane, I think has something that I wish he could have got, like the show. I wish, and I like Bernthal as well, but I wish I could have saw more of him. So, I bring that back because my favorite part of this movie, besides it being hilariously uneven, is the fact that I think when the Punisher is just killing people, it's that sort of violence that I assume a man who's filled with vengeance would have. Just, absolute brutality. He's not even, just trying to kill somebody. He's trying to kill him in a mean, angry way. And I like that. But I also, like I said, I like Jason Voorhees. I like this over-the-top killing stuff. So I want my Punisher to rip off your jaw and then stab the other guy in the eye with it. And
you definitely get that in Warzone, although it's so over the top that it's comical.
Yeah,
it's comical. The Thomas Jane version kind of went for more brutal realism.
And Dirty Laundry or in the movie? The
movie and Dirty Laundry.
Well, Dirty Laundry I'll give you. I'm not going to give you the movie. I'm sorry. We'll have to have our own episode about that and just fight about it.
Oh, yeah, we will, man. Because, the scene, I'll just say this, humor me. The scene where he loads up and he does his last declaration, or my declaration of intent or something like that. And it starts the music, dun, 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 dun. And then there's a voiceover. The shit he says during that voiceover, man, if you want peace, prepare for war. And there's a line that I fucking love, and he's loading up, shoop, shoop, shoop. He says something like, in some instances, I'm paraphrasing, in some instances,
in order to shame its inadequacy, it is necessary to act outside the law, to pursue natural justice.
No, this is not vengeance, punishment. And then the camera does dun, 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 with a low angle. He's got the thing. He's like, yeah, fuck. It's awesome. It's awesome. And we don't get any of that in this one.
No, he stabs the guy with a chair. Fuck it. I wish he had a couple things, but at the same time, Stevenson wasn't amazing with the American accent. I have a whole thing on accents. It was probably my favorite
Yeah,
part
no,
of the
I've
movie.
noticed over the course of doing the show with you, man.
Oh, but this
I
this
noticed
is
his
like
accent for
the
one
creme
second.
brulee. No, everybody had an accent in this. I loved it. The guy that plays Budiansky, Mr. Colin Salmon. Wow.
British gentleman, yeah.
Maybe the English aren't as good as they say, because his American accent, I would say English, but his American accent to me is the equivalent of Dick Van Dyke's English accent in Mary Poppins.
Didn't take you for a religious man, Castle.
And thought up before your very eyes.
His was an offensive American accent, and I loved it. There were scenes where I was like, where are you supposed to be from? I got more. We got
Guess I'm gonna switch to line now. Fuck.
Dominic West. He's actually good. I was going to say he's good at accents, but his is obviously like Italian New York accent. Sounds like Silvio from The Sopranos. If he was doing an Italian impression.
Why you had the lead on the thing that killed half the fucking city, and you didn't do a goddamn thing about it?
I mean, the Jamaican Irish pirate, the parkour guy. Is he supposed to be a Jamaican Irish pirate? I don't know, because his accent keeps switching depending on like what the word he says. I'm like, I love it.
But turns out you don't have any anymore.
I love it. It makes me happy. It brings me joy. I would say like the drinking game is when somebody loses their accent, take a drink, you're dead in 10 minutes. And that's why I love it. I think Stevenson's good. When he's
Stevenson's
not
actually quite amazing, to be honest. And
accent aside, but he has a look on
I
it.
didn't give two fucks about his accent. I didn't notice his accent. You know why I didn't notice his accent?
I have a good ear, John.
Because
That's why.
I was involved. I was invested in the character in this uneven shit show. I cared about his character. I was involved in his plight. So I give two flying fucks about his accent slipping. He's Irish.
have a
Mr.
good ear.
Stevenson's Irish. God bless
Well, I
him.
think wasn't he like English Irish?
He's Irish to me. He was born in Northern Ireland.
He's a Belfast guy. Good. Cypress Avenue. But here's the thing. I like his look the better. His face, his stature.
Well, he looks like the Punisher
Yes.
comic book.
Bernthal, I think, has a good attitude. He's just a little too small.
Bernthal comes off as the real shit.
Well, that's why, I mean, his version in Daredevil season 2 is my favorite. I thought the show was very uneven, but in season 2 Daredevil, it's the best interpretation I've ever seen in terms of the Punisher, as much as I love Warzone's whole take. But that's what I was saying earlier, where I like that the Punisher is like Bond, where it's always retroactively. It's
a product of its time.
Yeah, exactly. It's never leading. It's always behind, but I think that's a charm of it. So, the sort of grounded military sort of Iraq vet, that's our Punisher now. Whereas in obviously, the 90s, it was, or late 80s, whatever, it was a product of the one-man action show. And then 2004 was sort of that in between where like it was more thinking on your feet and being smart kind of Punisher, which I hate. But again, that's a product of the mid 2000s where tough action guys weren't as cool. I mean, I was around in 2004.
We're still going to do an episode on 2004.
I would love to, but come.
2004 is a very fascinating hit and miss.
Come with your fucking gloves, buddy.
Oh, dude, I'm gonna fuck you up, bro. I'm not.
I don't know if it's not a fight. It's more of a friendly debate. I mean, there's no winning the fucking 2004 Punisher, man. Nobody wins in that fight. Like we both lose.
I guess last thing I want to add before I start our ending questions is the score sucked.
Yes.
And I know that the score was actually Alexei Alexander, her composer, and you mentioned The Dark Knight before, and they said, we're going to bring in something. We want it to be more evocative of The Dark Knight, which has a great score by Zimmer. But the score sucked. I mean, it's not The Dark Knight, dudes. I mean,
no.
Lionsgates, that ain't The Dark Knight. You know what I'm saying? That's garbage. That's like generic, uninspired drivel. At least the 2004 Punisher has a score.
God, you killed me here.
Has a score that I remember to this day. No?
It's been a while. It's been a while, so I can't vouch.
I remember it to this day. I have it on CD. I have the score on the CD. At least they had a good score. Here, it was like, Chat GPT did it. That's what it came
it's
up.
bad score, and also it was. This is very evocative of that sort of, like I said, new metal shit of the late 2000s. So the score sucks, and the music is even worse. And I know people don't like my taste in music, but this music, score and just songs, are garbage.
The Red Band trailer for the Punisher Warzone when they first got released, emulated what they did the marketing campaign for Rambo 4. It's basically gore and violence set to the song called Days of Revenge by Ramallah. And no, I've never heard the band before, but I was listening to the song yesterday, and I know you're going to hate it because you hate anything that's manly and aggressive, but it is badass. It is badass. So just, you don't even need to watch the movie. Watch the Red Band trailer. It is fucking dope as fuck, and I don't even know what dope means.
Again, this is one of those movies that I own twice, but I would never really fight anybody because, like I said, what I like about it is that it's goofy, contradictory, and clearly tonally doesn't know what it wants to be, but it's fun. And before season 2 of Daredevil came out, this was a Punisher that I always loved, and still to this day. I mean, I think Stevenson's look and vibe is what I always want, and also just I like fucking Titus Polo, man. I like this guy getting work, and man, God bless, dude. I hope he's okay. I hope he's did
I still can't believe he's gone. It's blowing my fucking mind to this day. I can't believe. What was he?
He's
58? 58?
Yeah, he's young, man.
So I'm gonna end on this. It's very hard for me to not appreciate a movie that when a dude punches another dude in the face, his entire face caves in. The last 25 minutes, the extreme violence, I appreciate. But like you said before, it's a movie that doesn't know what it wants to be. It's all over the fucking place tonally. I think it looks cheap as opposed to looking gritty and grimy. They were going for a comic book vibe. Yes. I don't think they nailed it. It looked like comic book to me. I know, like, she shot, Alexander shot a lot, like, people on the side of the frames to evoke, like, a comic book. Like, in comic books, it's not always, like, dead center, in the panels.
Yeah, that's artistic.
I didn't get it. I know some people did. I know it's a very polarizing film, actually. I've read, like, user comments. People say, fucking amazing. And but for me, yeah, no, it's in the middle. But I respect its balls. How about you guys and those? I mean, numero uno. Where do you stand on Punisher Warzone? So bad it's good, so good it's good, so bad it's bad. Team Lance, Team Fallon, although we're kind of like on the same team on this one, but whatever, man. Gun down some comments below and let us know what you think. You see what I did there? Let us know what you think. And you know what? While you're at it, if you've seen every cinematic / TV incarnation of the Punisher like Lance and I have, how about you give us your, from favorite to least favorite, see where we land. That's it. And am I going to be the guy that's going to... I'm going to be the guy. Next show, Punisher 2004.
Okay.
Awesome. Well, that's it, boys and girls, guys and dolls. One last time.
I'm out, but to Ray Stevenson, huh?
Yeah. To Ray Stevenson. Cheers.